Hi, you guys, and welcome back to Talking Smack. Today, I'm super excited to talk about getting comfortable on social media, how you can start putting your face forward and feeling more confident. So let's get right into it.
Back in town on a red baby, don't make me wait. Body like been a long while, and I just wanna taste. Let's be alone. I put it down when I come around.
When I first started posting my face on social media, it was because of two different instances. I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I had a client, I had already been in business for probably, I think at 4 years at this point. She came to my studio, she knocked on the door, she kind of hesitantly opened it as I waved her in. She was like, "Are you Mackenzie? Am I in the right place?" I had not been posting any pictures of myself other than just my work ever for 4 years. And then right after that, I posted a photo of myself because I was like, all right, well, these new potential clients need to know what I look like. They need to know what my space looks like. And I basically, in the caption, I said 10 fun things about me, which were very generic and not that exciting. And my friend, Meg's Lashes, commented because I had asked, "What do you want to see more from me?" She said, "We want to see more of you." And after that point, I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm going to start posting more about myself. And that was probably 2018. Fast forward to 2020, Reels came out, and I just doubled down on posting my face. I posted so many trending audios. I got myself out there, and I really started to gain traction with more lash artists, which is what my goal was, because I wanted to start training more people. I didn't want to take clients anymore. I wanted to focus on the training part of my business. And so anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about my own imposter syndrome when I did want to start sharing tips, when I did want to start posting about myself, because I was so worried that other people were going to be like, that tip has already been shared, or this has already been put out there, or somebody else said it better than I did, or somebody else has a different opinion. I'm going to get blacklisted throughout the lash community. And I was so worried about all of those things. And so for me, I had to boil it down to what my why was, because I was so focused on me. I wasn't focusing on what I could give my audience. I wasn't focusing on how I could serve the people who were following me and engaging with me and wanting to see my content. So I boiled it down to, all right, I don't care if I look stupid. I don't care if I'm putting myself out there, because if I help one person with this post, if I can, share a little tip or make them laugh because it was something relatable, with clients and being a lash artist, then I was going to put that content out there because I just wanted to help one person. And so for me, being able to boil it down to, okay, is this a good post? Is this going to help one person? Yes. Okay, post it. And then it got to the point where I realized not everyone's going to agree with me. Not everyone is going to have the same opinions I do in the lash world, or about anything for that matter. And that's where I got really comfortable, because I started to realize and understand the whole entire lash industry. And I'm willing to bet it's any industry this can be related to. It's personal preference. And the way I do things, somebody else might be like, "Oh, I do all those same things the exact same way. Perfect, we're homies." Somebody else might see my content and be like, "Oh, I would never use that much adhesive. I only wrap. Oh, I don't crystallize my fans." And understanding that you're not marketing to the people who have different preferences than you. There's going to be a lash trainer that is perfect for me to be a student for. There might be a different lash trainer that I'm like, "Oh, I don't do things that way, but I still want to go learn from her and see to kind of open up my world." Now, I might still do things my way, but it's good for me to know that knowledge. So basically what I'm getting down to is put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to have an opinion, because there's always going to be an opposing opinion. But that doesn't mean that your opinion isn't valuable. That doesn't mean that your opinion doesn't matter. So again, figure out your why. And if it's like me, to be able to help one person, then that's worth it. Then you can start putting yourself out there. It's okay. It's going to feel scary at first. I remember when I went live for the very first time. It was probably only, I don't know, it couldn't have been longer than 5 minutes, but I had just gotten into my commercial space and I was like, okay, I'm going to be good. I'm showing my face now. I want to show people the space that we got into. I was sweating. I was completely pitting out. Luckily, I had control of the camera view, so nobody saw that. But I was drenched in sweat. I was so nervous. I was talking so fast. I wasn't breathing. I was just like hyperventilating through me talking through the camera. And so I went live again. Same thing. Super sweaty, talking really fast, couldn't breathe. Third time, same exact thing. Fourth and fifth time, I was like, oh, I'm not as sweaty this time. And I think by the 12th time I went live, I was like, oh, no big deal. Like, the moment you put yourself out there, it's going to feel scary. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But that's the point. Like, you're not going to grow in your comfort zone. You're not going to be able to get to that new place that you want to go without going through those uncomfortable situations. And I mean, even for this podcast, Nola's behind the camera right now. And I was talking to her, I was like, I'm stalling. I'm like taking a sip of my drink. I'm taking my jacket off. I'm, messing with my hair. And because it's those uncomfortable things, you just have to work through it. You have to breathe through it and know that you're learning through all of that. Which brings me to my point of different types of content. When you're starting to try something new, say you've marketed to clients for 2 years, that's all you've done, and now you want to break into the training world and you're going to start sharing tips. It's going to take the algorithm a minute to realize that, oh, okay, we're switching gears here. This algorithm is so smart. If you've only posted directed towards clients, it might take you a second to get to the point where it's starting to push you out to other lash artists. Be mindful of the words you're using on your reels, in your captions, the hashtags that you're choosing to use. And this is where you're going to want to test. We want to take a minute to thank our sponsor, Loved and Lashed. She offers a wide range of lash products and online courses, perfect for new and experienced lash artists, and especially for lash trainers. She even has an online course for anyone wanting to become a lash trainer. The Charmed Tweezer is one of my favorites, and her dreamy silk lashes fan like butter. I'm obsessed with the double mix tray. It's so smart, especially for trainers who want to give their students a mixed curl mix tray. And especially if you like her 0.03s, which I'm obsessed with her 0.03s. They literally fan so easily, especially with that Charmed tweezer. And I did just try her perfect pair duo, and I am obsessed. And again, so perfect for anyone who is doing trainings. You can check out all of her products online and in-person trainings at lovedandlashed.com. And don't forget to use code SMACKPOD20 for savings. You're going to want to test different types of content. And just knowing that vanity metrics are not the be-all, end-all. Not every post is going to go viral, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the good and the bad of going viral as well. So when you're testing different content, I was actually talking with a coaching student about this not too long ago. She was like, I've never posted anything about training, and I really want to start training. Where do I start? You can start with one tip. So for example, let's say it's a taping back tip. You're talking about how to tape back. Create that in a reel. Create it as a hard post with photos and text explaining it. And then you can do like a video that's a longer form than the reel and see which one performs better. Or you can do another thing. There's a fourth type of content where you could just do a reel, a talking head reel, and have like photos pop up. And if you're testing these different types of content, not only is it going to show you what your audience likes, but it's also going to reiterate what you like to do. Because just because one thing performs better on your page because your audience was able to understand it better, but it's also going to teach you what you like to create. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if your goal is to be consistent, you're going to want to create the content that you like creating. And so if you like making graphics and you like throwing photos up there and you like typing out, those sentences for people to understand, then stick with that. Instagram is starting to prioritize static posts again. And just because reels are so hot and in right now doesn't mean you have to do it. You can, again, create your own mold, create your own, path, because what works for you might not work for somebody else. And you need to stick in your zone of genius so you can continue to be consistent. Okay, so moving on to reels and talking about why they're important, but also the good and the bad of going viral. So reels are amazing because they get pushed out to more people than just your audience. So you have that chance of getting a higher reach. However, the posts of mine, the reels that have gotten millions of views, will bring me a lot of followers. But what I've noticed is only about 40% of those followers are in the beauty industry, are in the lash world, who are actually excited to learn from me or take one of my online courses or sign up for coaching or something of that nature. About 60% of the people probably saw the reel and was like, oh, that's funny, I'm going to follow her. She posts only funny things. So you do get a lot of influx of people who may not continuously engage with your page. So however, it's really cool to see that 1.5 million views or however many views you get. It's not always the best way to get people in to your audience to actually engage with you. And ultimately too, when you're creating content, you have to understand what the purpose of that content is. So the funny, relatable pieces that I create that are really targeted to other lash artists, that's to continue to build my community of lash artists who see that and they're like, damn, she's relatable. Like, I feel that. That is exactly how I feel. Like, I've had that experience with my clients, and it's bringing people into my community of lash artists that are like-minded. Now, there are posts that I will post, whether that's a reel or a static post, talking about my online courses, talking about my coaching, talking about specific things where I'm trying to get signups or trying to make sales. And with those posts, they're never going to go viral. They're never going to, get those vanity metrics that you're looking for if that's really important to you. However, a post of mine talking about specific things, talking to those specific people that I'm trying to market to, it might only get 100 likes, but I might have 20 people in my DMs asking me about my courses or coaching. So knowing that you're not looking for the likes, especially if you're thinking about, okay, I have an online course, I want to make sales, I want to help transform people's lives, I want to help them create the business of their dreams and create ease in their business and help them not be frustrated when they're lashing, or not be frustrated when they're dealing with clients, or not be frustrated when they're pricing their services and realizing they price themselves too low. So understanding that there's a purpose for different pieces of content and just getting down to the bottom of it, like knowing and not being discouraged if something doesn't get those likes that you're looking for. Another thing to think about reels, and I'll also talk about carousel posts as well. Reels and carousels have delayed reach. So you could post a reel today, and a month from now, it could start getting a ton more likes. I think there's a video of mine that I posted, I think all the way in December, and it's all of a sudden blowing up again. And that's 2 months later, almost 3 months later. We're almost in, actually, I guess it's mid-April or mid-February. I don't know what day it is, but just understanding that you don't need to delete something if you feel like, oh, it didn't get the likes I want. And now we have the feature to turn off the likes. If it does bother you, turn the likes off. It's fine. And knowing that, it could reach more people later on. Same thing with carousel posts. So if you post those static posts and you have 10 photos in it, whether that's graphics where you're teaching something or photos of your work, what Instagram is going to do is it's going to push it out to a portion of your audience. And then whichever slide people hover over longer or zoom in on, whatever post within that 10. So let's say post, the picture number 3 gets the most time spent on that specific picture or photo or graphic, whatever it is. Instagram is also going to push that out to more people with that slide in front. So if you've ever been scrolling through Instagram and you're like, you see a carousel post and it puts you on like the third or fourth picture and you slide through, you're like, oh wait, there's more in the front. This is what's happened because Instagram has identified that more people have hovered over that photo the longest. And if it's getting good engagement, it's going to push it out on that photo. So don't delete your posts. Just wait for that delayed boost because you're going to get it. So basically, to end this one, I just wanted to reiterate to you guys, it's going to be uncomfortable in the beginning when you want to start putting your face out there. But if you have your why, if you have your reasons on why you want to put yourself out there, whether that's you want to build that community, you want to make more sales for your online courses, it's going to help people trust you because you're going to build that know, trust factor. The more you show up, the more you talk, and the more people can understand your style of teaching or your style of relating to other people. And for me, the more that I've shown up and either talked on stories or done talking head videos that are just, my thoughts or my opinions, that's when I'm creating that connection to people. Those are the times where I have more people in my DMs who have said, I've never related to something more. I needed to hear this. And this was encouraging, or like, I'm really glad you shared this because your story is going to help somebody else. But you can't help anyone if you're holding your story back at close to your chest. And again, I want to end this by just saying you have value to share. You're important. Your voice matters. And we want to hear from you. And you're really going to help change people's lives. And you just have to take that first step and sweat and pit out and be all gross and disgusting. And that by that 12th time you do it, you're going to be like, oh, I don't know what I was worried about. Like, I'm good. I'm safe. I'm, protected. And if you get any trolls, just delete those comments because those people don't matter. And like Nola said earlier off camera, hurt people hurt people. And it's no reflection of you. It's their inner world coming out to anybody that they can project onto. And it has nothing to do with you because you're important and we want to hear from you. I love you guys and we'll see you in the next episode.